Thanks for joining us. It is Tuesday, January 9th, and it's time we check in with Elko City Manager Jan Baum for our update in city news in advance of the first regular meeting of the new year. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you, Lori. Yes, first meeting of 2024, and it'll be a little bit of a long agenda just because we did not have a meeting on the 26th of December, and so we have a lot of things going, so it'll be good.
That's awesome. We will get caught up and dig right in with our city manager, of course. It's a bit of an organizational meeting for council members, and so obviously I'll let you get started with what's tops on the agenda.
Oh, sure. And so we have, first of all, we have some recognitions. We have one of our long-term employees retiring, and her name is Betty Neild. And I just want to recognize her because she was with the city for over 27 years, and I don't think there was a person in the city that didn't know her and appreciate her. So definitely going to be missed, and she'll be recognized, and I'm excited for that. So, and then of course a couple employees that have left us that will be recognized as well, Bob and Addie Tebow, and then the presentation of the fiscal year 2023 audited financial report is on the top of the agenda, and that will take a little bit of time, but we're glad to say there are no, that we have a clean report and there are no material findings or anything, and so that'll be a good presentation by Hinton Burdick.
And I know, Jan, that's important to you as you were before city manager. You had, that was your role in financial services administration for the city. And so it's always satisfying to know that that role is being filled responsibly.
Yes, absolutely. And that role has been not filled actually for a few months. And so it was a push to get all of the information in, and we're thankful that it's issued, and our new financial services director started actually last Tuesday, and we're excited about that. And it's just always nice to have the audit behind you and know that you've got some fresh numbers to start your, for the beginning of the 23-24 year. And the city is in good shape, and all the enterprise funds are doing pretty well, and so it'll be a good report for council.
Oh, that's great, Jan. And again, thanks to staff and everybody who pitched in to make sure that, as you said, that even though the position might have been vacant for some time, it certainly kept the ship going in the right direction and kept it afloat.
Absolutely. We have an amazing team at the city, and yes, it seems to happen that way, that when there's things that are lacking, we all pitch in and get it done, and accurately. So that's nice.
Good news. That'll be presented during this afternoon's council meeting. And then there'll be an update on the nuisance property at 837 Idaho Street.
Yes, there will be an update on the Elko Inn at 837 Idaho Street. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of an update. We haven't heard from the owner in quite a while, actually, and so we sent him. The city clerk sent him an email yesterday, and we're still waiting for a response to the amended order, and so. There's not a lot of an update, but we will give that to council for sure.
All right. And then reviewing agreements to help support services at the city animal shelter, where we know the spay-neuter program is a huge success in preventing those unwanted litters.
Absolutely. And helping us control the animal population in our city, and actually the county as well. It's a regional asset. And we currently have... We have one veterinarian that helps us with the spay-neuter clinic, and his name is Dr. William Wright, and we appreciate him greatly. Dr. Hannah Rodriguez was helping us as well, but she has moved away from the area, and we are keeping an agreement with her because she does provide some remote veterinarian services, but she is not helping with the spay-neuter clinic at this time unless she's in town. And so we have a couple, 2 additional veterinarians that have agreed to help us out when they have time, and that is Dr. Matthew Barnes and Dr. Austin Kreiser, and we're really excited for them to join the team and get that going, and a little bit of relief for Dr. William Wright.
Oh, that's good news. And we know there have been some retirements from the shelter recently, but a lot of really good people have also stepped up to fill those positions.
Absolutely, and we have two of those employees who are going to be introduced today with Stephanie Estrada and Ashlyn Tarrant. And anyway, we're excited for them to be introduced. And you're right, Elisa has a very new team, but she's excited about it, and we are too. We have two vet techs that have joined the team, and those are vital to helping the animal shelter, especially with the spay-neuter clinic and helping the veterinarians. So we're excited about that.
Oh, great, Jan. And just to note too, we're hearing really good things in the community of animal rescue and people who patronize the shelter about Elisa's leadership there. So those were big shoes to fill.
Absolutely. Karen was with the animal shelter for many, many years, and Elisa's really excited. She has a lot of energy, and she's doing a great job, and we do our best to help as many animals as we can. And no animal is adopted out of the shelter without being spayed or neutered, and that's what LASSO helps us with. They help reimburse us for the cost of the veterinarian time to do the spay-neuter clinic, and it's essential for our region.
Jan Baum is our city manager as we're looking over agenda items in time for this afternoon's meeting that starts at 4 today. And speaking of doing a great job, the leadership of Elko Arts and Culture Advisory Board, that's Catherine Wines, and I know that she's eager to get moving in the new year with big art projects that are coming up.
Yes, Catherine does an amazing job with the arts, the arts and culture in our city, and she has headed the murals and a lot of different projects in the city, and we're very much appreciative for her. And we're passing the bylaws are on the consent agenda.
Yep, so she has a very active board. She'll have 5 people instead of 7. The revisions will address how vacancies are filled and advertised, and then there will also be, and we'll address meeting attendance. So that way, because there's a big project going forward in the new year, getting ready for the Sesquicentennial.
Exactly, yes. She's very excited about that project. Well, that whole committee is, and we'll be excited to see where that goes. And I believe they're going to go out to the community for that project.
Yep, pretty soon. I'm talking with City Vice Mayor Mandy Simons, so I know she's excited to help spear up that end of the project as well. So,
oh, wonderful.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, I didn't know Mandy was that involved, and I'm excited to hear that.
Talking with our city manager about what's on the agenda, Planning Commission Work Program, that's always an organizational effort for the new year. Yes,
those are some housekeeping items. The Planning Commission Work Program, as well as the list of appraisers for this that the Planning Commission uses, and yes, those are some housekeeping items for sure.
And for the next item, just in case listeners were thinking that, it's a piece of cake to be on the council, you just go to a couple meetings a month. Well, there are all these mayoral appointments, Jan, that indicate just how much work goes into being an elected official with the city, and the mayor gets to help steer some of the appointments and liaisons on a variety of, I didn't even count them all here, but there's, I think, at least a dozen.
Exactly, I think 10 to 15, and yeah, so the council members are very active in our community, and so they serve on different liaison, either committees or just attending meetings with the different department heads throughout the city. And actually, I'm going to ask the mayor to pull this item out and have no action on it, because we discussed it today in our directors meeting, and I think there might be an item missing or one that we need to discuss. So I think we're going to take that out and put it on next agenda for an action item.
Well, that's good. It's always good to have something to look forward to. Well, something, let's see if we're on to the next page. You did talk about employee introductions, yes?
Yes, and we also have a police officer, Carter Alvarado, and then Julie Davis, our financial services director, which I already touched on. And then we have some disappointing news on the personnel as well, that we have received our letter of intent to retire from Kelly Woldridge, our Elko City clerk. And I'm very excited for her, not for myself, but I'm excited for her. And so we'll be asking council to accept that letter of intent to retire, and then we're going to ask them to go out to recruitment so we can get a replacement. Her last day will not be until May, so she's given us a lot of time for our recruitment, and so we'll go forward with that.
Kelly does so many things on behalf of the city of Elko. I mean, not just personally, but that's the role of the city clerk. And she stepped into that role with eyes wide open, Jan, and really took off where I think in the past it's difficult to replace a city clerk. They have so much personal knowledge of the inner workings of the city.
Exactly. Kelly has so much knowledge about just even local government as a whole and the NRS and the code, and she loves to research all that, and she loves to really bury herself into that. And it is so helpful to the council, helpful to the different departments within the city, and she'll definitely be missed, and it'll be big shoes to fill.
But at least, as you said, there'll be time to work on the recruitment, and I know that she'll be there helping to make that transition smooth because it is an election year for the city as well.
Absolutely, and that's on our agenda as well. It is an election year, and so Kelly has provided the resolution for the election on the agenda, and we'll be discussing that. We have 2 openings this year. Mandy Simons, unfortunately, will be termed out, and so she will not be running again. And then Claire Morris, he's up for re-election as well, and we're hoping that he will run again, but that's of course up to him.
I know he said in a text, and he was out skiing, so he was in a great mood, and I texted him and said, "Are you in, Chief?" And he said, "Yeah." So he said he was going to run again. So
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
He's a good voice and gives a good perspective, and has that insight of the police department because he used to be a sheriff as well as a police chief, and so yeah, he just has some really good knowledge for the municipality as a whole, I believe.
And I also think it's fair to say I've worked with the chief throughout many aspects of his career. He has a huge heart, Jan, and he doesn't always wear it on his sleeve, but he really does care for the community.
He absolutely does. He is so dedicated to this community, you're right, and yeah, he's just a great voice for our city council, and I hope that he runs again, and yeah, so maybe I'll shoot him a text. Huh?
Yeah, shoot him a text. I'm sure we'll be talking to him. Well, you will be. You'll see him today at the meeting. So
absolutely.
Vacation's over. Time to get back to work.
That's right.
Next on the agenda, the city struggled a little bit with this, but not through any of the local officials' fault, but securing a $350,000 grant, a federal grant, to acquire some military vehicle, an armored rescue vehicle, and this is still a work in progress.
Yes, but we're very excited that the item on the agenda today is to award the contract for that vehicle to a company called Teradyne Armored Vehicles. And you're right, we've gone out to bid now. This is our 3rd time, and it's a federal contract, and so they're a little tricky, and every time it went out, there was usually something missing from the bid package from both vendors, and they weren't. Not all the information was there, and we didn't feel comfortable awarding that without checking all the box per se, because it's a federal grant, and we want to make sure that the city of Elko gets reimbursed for that vehicle, which is north of $330,000, and so we want to make sure that everything is checked, and we believe it is this time, and so I'm excited for the council to award that bid. It has to be filled by September 30th of 2024 in order to get the federal funds, and so it'll be a quick timeline because we all know about supply chain issues right now, and so Chief is excited to get that ordered.
And we'll talk more with Chief Ty Troughton at our next meeting with him. He comes on the radio with the sheriff at least once a month, Jan, and I know he's enthusiastic about having an armored vehicle, and he'll talk about the significance of it and why we need it. Some people say, well, this is Elko, why would we need something like that? But unfortunately, we do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an important piece of equipment. It helps protect our patrol officers, our law enforcement, which is Law Enforcement Recognition Day, by the way, and I would for sure like to put out a shout out to our very special, very equipped law enforcement at the city of Elko. They are some professional, well-equipped, well-trained professionals, and I just want to put a shout out to them, by the way. And but anyway, so this vehicle helps protect them, and you can't put a price on protection, and so we're excited to have this armored vehicle.
All right, that'll be added to the lineup there at the Elko Police Department. Next on the agenda, in time for this afternoon's regular Elko City Council meeting, talking about creating what's known as a force account to build the Cattle Drive Exit 298 water line project. Sounds like a big thing, Jan, but it's pretty typical, actually, in projects like this.
Yes, actually, I got a little education on this, and Dale said that we've done this before on some of these very large projects. It seems like a lot of money at $200,000. I strongly doubt we would ever have that. We'd go up to that amount, but it is a $3.3 or $3.2 million project. And so what happens is when we have additional fill, which is dirt, and sometimes that takes the contractor more time, or we have to figure out where to put that additional fill, or we don't have enough fill and we have to go find some fill. But there's just some different things, or we need another culvert where we didn't have a culvert. And so anyway, it would be nice to have this force account so that the utility manager and the city manager can make informed decisions, rather than going to council every time there's a change. And so we'll see what council thinks of that. If they want us to go to them every time, then we'll do that.
Thanks, Jan, for the update. The one thing to keep in mind that staff wouldn't ask for something like this if they didn't realize that asking for change orders can amount to significant time and delay in these projects. And
absolutely, which in turn would cost more money as well. And we wouldn't, if there was a change in scope to the project, that would not be covered under this. This would be maintained primarily like additions to the amounts, like I said, more fill dirt than we had anticipated, or additional culvert, which is already included in the bid. And this $200,000 would still keep the current bid under the next lowest competitive bid.
Yep, and it's actually about 6.3% of the total contract bid. So again, it's well thought out. So probably wouldn't have any trouble with this council anyway, asking for it.
Right,
So.
And if they do, that's fine. We can do it a different way.
Absolutely. Also on the agenda today, people get excited about their new subdivisions, and I think this is the final on the Copper Trails, right?
Yes, it is, and it's for an additional 10 lots, which would obviously equivalent to 10 homes. And so we're excited about the Copper Trails, the final phase 3, I believe it is, and phase 2, unit 3. And so that's been a good project, and we've appreciated that, and glad to see that final map come through.
And that's in the vicinity, of course, the intersection of Copper Street and Mittry Avenue, if you're headed up North 5th. Some really beautiful, exciting development. And even if you keep going up North 5th, Jan, it's just shocking how much is going on in I think that city-county urban interface area, right?
Yes, there's quite a few projects up North 5th, and so it's exciting to see that be developed.
Under new business, and the city will definitely explain thoroughly about this because it is an easement. It's for utilities. It's for the Boys and Girls Clubs, which is a nonprofit. They would like to have access over Golf Course Road. And good news in that I think the alignment of Golf Course Road is also going to be cleaned up.
Absolutely, yes. So if you've driven, some people may not have noticed when I mention this to people, but as you go down Golf Course Road, right there by the Child Advocacy Center and the pool, that portion of Golf Course Road is much wider than the rest of the street as you go up past the Kump Fields. So this will pull the street in a little bit, make it in alignment with the rest of the street, and then it'll give a little bit more room on that lot. So it'll be good to, I think, clean it all up before that rec center starts construction.
And that groundbreaking should be in March or so?
March or April, that's what I keep hearing, so fingers crossed.
All right, looking forward to building the new city swimming pool on the site of the existing pool with the adjacent or the attached recreation center, and things will start shaping up, and I know we'll be talking a lot more about it. And I'm sure boys and girls will come on the radio and talk about this project. They're super excited about it, Jan.
I really would think that they would be, they're very willing and excited to come and educate the public on exactly what that building will be. I've seen some plans for it. It's an exciting place, provides some room for our teens, which I think is really important, and then I believe a gym in addition to, of course, the indoor pool, which is, of course, what the city is really excited about. So currently, the pool is closed, and we're doing some maintenance to it and getting it cleaned up because we do want to keep that maintenance going so we can keep it open until the new pool is open.
Yep, we're in the home stretch. Let's hope, anyway. I guess once that groundbreaking and construction begins, we can all start to breathe a little easier, Jan, and then
absolutely
keep our fingers crossed for that old pool to just hang in there. You mentioned the development that's going on North 5th Street, and the next agenda item has to do with a revocable permit, but this is so an owner can accommodate some landscaping for a development there that should make it look pretty nice.
Absolutely. I think that, landscaping and adjacent to the road is always it helps better our community, and so I think that will be a good project.
It is kind of a long agenda. We're getting closer to the end of it, and Jan gets to do this all over again during this afternoon's meeting. Elko TV District is asking for some land to install a tower and equipment at the Elko Snow Bowl site, so that's pretty exciting. I think they're going to come on and talk more about some of the things that they have planned because they got an increase in the tax base, and apparently Elko TV District has some plans to enhance some of our communications, provide maybe a public access channel, things like that. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So this is exciting, actually. So, yes, they're looking for, NB Energy would actually run a power line to the top of the snow bowl right there by the chairlift, and I believe they'd install a tower there, and so in the big picture, I believe this is a benefit to the city of Elko, and if we could ever get power up there rather than a generator for the snow bowl, that would be a benefit for the city. So this is an exciting project. I'm thinking from some of the maps and the agenda packet information, this will be a good education, and I believe they have a pretty good engineered plan.
Yeah, installing that electrical line, I mean, that at a future date could provide the city with an extension from the mountaintop down to the base, and who knows where Snow Bowl could go after that.
Right, yeah, that would be, it would just be really beneficial to the Snow Bowl to have electricity up there and power.
Talking with our city manager, Jan Peterson. Let's see, medical, I know, it's like so much on this. You weren't kidding when you mentioned it was a long agenda, but a lot of important things. Dr. Bergeron has retired as a local physician, and now we will have a new MD as an emergency room doctor, and she's going to oversee the medical program as administered at the fire department.
Yeah, so our fire chief, Chief Johnston, he's excited about this, and bidding farewell to Dr. Bergeron. He did an amazing job for us, and very thankful for his services, and but at the same time excited for Dr. Milligan to sign on with us, excited that she was willing to help out, and I understand that she's excited about it and she has a lot of energy, and so it'll be interesting to see where we go with this.
That's great. So moving on with the local emergency services as provided by the Elko City Fire Department. And then here's this resolution you mentioned that Kelly Woldridge will bring that actually begins to the process of electing city council members.
Yes, exactly. And so if there's anybody in the public that is a resident of the city of Elko, they can pay there's a $50 candidacy fee, and they can file to run for office anytime between March 4th and March 15th. And so we'd be excited to have different people apply for that.
As we mentioned with Councilman Morris, he's indicated that he will seek re-election. We won't know for sure until his name's on the piece of paper there, coming up the end of or mid-March. But Councilwoman Simons, after many, many years of great service to Elko, she's prohibited by NRS from seeking re-election to that position. She could go on to be a county commissioner if she wanted, maybe.
She could.
She could do other things.
Yeah, I know. I think she's kind of excited to have some free time.
I think so too, yeah.
But she has a lot of other things that she volunteers for, and she's active in our community, which we're thankful for. And we're disappointed she's leaving, but I understand and excited for her.
Yeah, so there will be a definite vacancy. You can find out more. You can call Kelly Woldridge. You can talk to existing council members. Often we have people who come up the ranks through the Planning Commission, which is a volunteer opportunity, but that's not a given. That sometimes we have people just coming from the community at large. These are nonpartisan seats, Jan, so it should make for a little nicer election going into 2024. We know things can get a little heated around the presidential election. So.
Absolutely. There's a lot of drama there, and so I'm hoping there's not as much drama around the city of Elko election.
Yep, you're governing water and sewer for the most part. So
absolutely. Very necessary services that we provide for the city of Elko, and so we have an amazing board right now. So.
Yes, so hopefully we're encouraging people to find out more in advance of filing for those council positions, either one or both, and they are at large, so it's just residing somewhere within the city, which is different than the county because they're by district, and so you have to live in a certain area to run for those seats.
Absolutely, yes. In the city of Elko, as long as you live in the city limits, you can run for office. You're right, it's not by jurisdiction, so yeah.
Well, Jan, anything else that's on your agenda? I mean, we have a minute or so. I do know I wanted to mention on behalf of Mayor Reese Keener, we were both on hand, and Jan was there at the Government Affairs Committee hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, which is a monthly meeting, which the community's invited. And the mayor did talk about concerns about driving, for example. I did want to mention that too because, people do seem to be driving too fast, maybe fast for conditions, and especially driving at night. And we need to just remind people about safety.
Absolutely, and always watch for your pedestrians. Sometimes people are wearing dark clothes, and that was, I think, the incident that made the mayor really think about it. Is somebody was walking in the road and they had on all dark clothes and he barely saw them, and it was just I don't know, startled him a little bit. So just be aware. We have a lot of dark hours right now. Our days are getting longer, thank heavens, but we still have a lot of darkness right now. So when you're walking next to the street or in the street, beware. And when you're driving, for sure, watch for your pedestrians and be careful of that. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is our weather is getting colder, and unfortunately, for the last 3 years, fortunately for the last 3 years, we've had a hotelier that has helped us with some cold weather accommodations for some of our residents that don't have homes. And this year we weren't able to find a hotelier that wanted to partner with the city because the one that usually does is doing some construction, which is understandable. And so I just wanted to announce that we do not have those accommodations this year. Fish does have their Samaritan House, and they also provide some supplies and meals and lunches. So but I wanted to make that public service announcement.
All right. So unfortunately, there won't be any cold weather shelter available. It's just not available. It's not something that was decided by council or anything. It's just not available this year from the local hoteliers. So that might create an opportunity for nonprofits or church groups or individuals to come together to help provide the services and to care for homeless people during this time.
Yes, exactly. And we did, it was not as for a lack of effort. Our assistant city manager, this is something he feels strongly about, and his office reached out to many hoteliers in town and with the request, and they've definitely spent some time on this, and so it was not due to a lack of effort.
All right. Well, we can also close with some great news about employments that ended up in December 2023. We made it.
We did. We hit the 10,000 passenger mark, which was something that we were really excited about, and we're hoping that 2024 is even better. And again, we have the return overnight flight that leaves Elko early in the morning. I don't have the exact time, but I think it's around 6 a.m. And the flight also comes in usually around 9:30, and as we know, stays overnight and then takes off in the morning. And Jim Foster's crew is working really hard right now at some snow removal, and we're very thankful for them. And we have the 76 passenger plane with the first, the dual class, I guess is what you call it, which has the first class. And so, yeah, it's an exciting time for the airport. And so remember to fly Elko.
Thanks, Jan. We'll see you at this afternoon's meeting. You can follow along online at elkocity.com, or of course be there in person. Do we get to all the topics today?
I think so. And then just watch also for snow removal. It looks like we're going to get a couple good storms coming this week, and so the snow removal crew will be out, Paul Algerio's team, and a good shout out to them as well. So we have and hopefully the Snow Bowl will be open this weekend, and we're excited about that.
Oh, great. So if you love the snow, and even if you don't, just kind of go along with it, because, I mean, Snow Bowl is so much fun. And
Absolutely. The Snow Bowl is just an amazing thing for our community, and James Wiley has spent a lot of time up there getting it prepared, and he just works so hard up there, and we're so thankful for him, and so we're excited for the Snow Bowl to be open.
All right. We'll report on that, of course, Jan, and let you go and head up the council meeting. Again, anybody who is interested in city business is encouraged to be there. Thanks, Jan, so much for being on the radio with us, as you do at least 3 times a month. We really appreciate the outreach by the city.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today.